You're right, I'm Matthew, and welcome to the first episode of my Football Manager 2020 beta save with Chelsea FC. Chelsea are the team that I support, so I thought it would be a nice way to start. And also, they've got the transfer ban this season, so I did turn the first transfer window off just to make it a little bit easier for myself. That's my manager profile that I'm using. I just end up using the suggested badges for Chelsea, and yeah, it should be an enjoyable series to play through. So, this is the opening screen of the new game. We've replaced Frank Lampard on a 130k a week contract. Don't mind if I do. So, we're a pretty high reputation club. We're predicted to come third. Obviously, Stadium Stamford Bridge, just over 40,000 capacity, and we have really good training facilities at Cobham Training Ground. And last season we were third in the Prem. This season we're looking to at least emulate that. And here is what the board see as our best starting lineup. Obviously, players like Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Hudson-Odoi won't be available straight away because they're both injured at the start of the game. And there is a transfer that will end up going out in a season's time of Alvaro Morata to Atletico Madrid. And here is our club vision. So we've got some club culture, attacking, possession, and entertaining football. They want us to sign under 22 players for the future, and develop players using the youth system, and sign high reputation players. Also, they want us to sign young players to develop for profit, maximum 1-year contracts for over 30-year-olds. They want us to keep the best youth system in the world, apparently, and I'm pretty sure every team wants you to work within the wage budget. So this season, they want us to qualify for the Champions League, reach the final of the FA Cup, reach the quarter-final of the Champions League, and they don't believe the Carabao Cup or the UEFA Super Cup are that important. In the future, they want us to challenge for silverware in a second season. I'm quite possibly could do that second season. I don't know for sure how long I'm going to make this last, but they want us to win the Premier League in 5 years' time. So there, I get hired as the manager, and obviously we've got the transfer ban, so we won't be able to make any signings in January either. So here is just the overview of me making the tactic. I always like to start from a clean slate tactic, and I put in all of the different positions that I want my players to play in. I did all of the in possession, in transition, and out of possession tactics, and then I will go on to do player specific tactics. And overall, I think we've got a decent squad despite being under a transfer ban. I think we could have a go at the title this season if possible. But if not, I think top four is very doable. And the players we have seem to perfectly fit the tactics I've made, I'd say, because I had a look through the squad before I made the tactics. Here I'm just putting in our corner takers and our free kick takers, and for the throw-ins I just put in the full-backs because that's who would take the throw-ins in real life. But overall, yeah, decent team. I mean, it would have been a slightly better team. Well, slightly is probably an understatement. A lot better team if we hadn't sold Eden Hazard in the summer. However, I think we've got a lot of players who can make up for that. The likes of Tammy Abraham and Mason Mount coming through. As far as I go, Cesar Azpilicueta will be our captain. We've got some pre-season games against our under-23s, Shanghai SIPG, Shanghai Shenhua, Hamburg, Inter Milan, and Real Valladolid. I then go back and put the penalties in because I realised I've forgotten to do that. Right, the code of conduct is another thing. I just asked the assistant manager and confirmed what they thought. There are the players that are going to be injured at the start of the game. Reece James, Marco van Hinkel's going to be out for a long time. I then did my initial team meeting. Rudiger didn't like that we weren't going for the title, and Krasnodar is a team that we'll also be facing. and there's my press conference going on in the background for becoming the new manager of Chelsea FC. But yeah, Rudiger didn't seem very happy that I wasn't ambitious enough to say that we'll go for the title within this season, but everyone else was fine with what I came up with. So, our first match against the under-23s. So, we went 1-0 up just outside of 9 minutes with Pedro. Jamie Cumming kind of messed up save a bit, and Christensen gets his foot on the end of a Marcus Alonso free kick to make it 2. We then got a goal disallowed in the 65th minute with Olivier Giroud being offside, but we went 3-0 up with Kovacic in the 74th. Jorginho slips it across to Kovacic for a first time shot, and it slams into the back of the net. And then we scored an own goal to make it 3-1. Cross in from Billy Gilmore, I believe it is, and then Connor Brown's shot ricocheted off of Kurt Zuma into the back of the net. And we've got a couple of coaches going for Continental Pro licenses, and I'm signing a few more staff members, the likes of Ron Ruddick here, and we've also signed Hugo Oliveira. And into our second friendly now, the friendly against Krasnodar. Pedro once again opens the scoring here, as Piliqueta whips the ball in, and Ross Barkley just heads it on, I think, to Pedro, who slams it into the back of the net. And the second goal, Emerson's goal, I unfortunately deleted the footage of. Our development centre there, we've got a lot of good young talent coming through, who, if we get far enough into the series, we could possibly do. We also extend Mark Guay's contract here, and do a bit more in terms of press conferences. I also ended up putting Tariq Lamptey on the loan list here, as he signed a new contract, and that was one of the promises I made. And I'm going through signing a few more staff. We were down on coaches at the start of the season, and we had space for a few more staff. And here we now go into the game against Shanghai SIPG. Unfortunately, Oscar, our former player, is not playing. We got an injury for Antonio Rudiger in this match, but I believe it wasn't too long-term an injury, so that was slightly disappointing. Jorginho just after that put us 1-0 up. We got a cross in from Marcus Alonso, I'd like to say it was, but Jorginho picks the ball up from the defence and slams it into the back of the net. Pedro here on a run up of the right hand side of the pitch, and he whips it across into Ross Barkley, who has a shot from the edge of the box to make it 2-0. So here we've got the ball. Pedro's running up and whipping it into the middle, and they have given away a penalty, and we're going to have Jorginho taking the penalty here. He is probably the best penalty taker at the club, and of course he scores. So then we get a free kick here after Hulk fouls Jorginho, and Hulk ends up getting sent off. And one of our youngsters, Faustino Angerin, he came on for, I believe it was Ross Barkley, who were starting at attacking mid. Oh wait, no. Ross Barkley scored the next goal. Must have been Mason Mount then. Ross Barkley, it's just laid off to him by Giroud, and he slams it into the back of the net. Billy Gilmore picks this one up to Jorginho, who hits it across to the other side, and Emerson fires him from just inside the box. And there's some Champions League results there. If you want to pause at any moment, please do. We then go on to play Shanghai Shenhua, and Pedro had a very, very good pre-season. He runs forward with the ball, and from a similar position to what he scored other goals already, fires it in from the right hand side of the box. We then have George McEachran, who heads it forward towards Tammy Abraham, but Abraham's slightly offside. Then Abraham actually got a goal to put us 2-0 up off his head from Marcos Alonso cross. So here we see Stefan El Shaarawy attacking, and they get given a free kick, and Tariq Lamptey, the man who's just got a new contract, gets sent off. So we beat them 2-0 in the end. So now I just keep the bonuses of this season to normal. I don't generally change these because I don't usually think one competition is better than another. And here we see Faustino Angerin denies to sign a new contract. I'll also transfer list Michy Batshuayi here, as he seemed to get extremely angry when I asked him why he wasn't training well enough, and got a bit defensive, and his morale just kept on getting lower and lower. I then choose to recall David Zappacosta from Roma, as that was advised by my assistant manager. So now we'll go into the game against Hamburg. First goal of the match, we've got Emerson running up the left-hand side of the pitch. Emerson will whip it into the middle. Abraham will lay it off for Mason Mount, and Mount will put us 1-0 up. We've then got Kovacic here, over to Azpilicueta, and Dave is fouled by one of the Hamburg centre-backs, and Jorginho, I believe, scores another penalty, as he is our best penalty taker. And we've got a free kick here. Mason Mount puts in the free kick, and Andreas Christensen gets his head to it, starting at centre-back in this game. We've now got Christensen hitting a ball right up the field over the top of the defence. Abraham manages to run onto it and fires it into the back of the net. For our fifth goal now, Azpilicueta picks it up on the right-hand side, whips it across, and Angerin gets on the end of it. So we won that one 5-0 in the end, Andreas Christensen getting man of the match. And now we go into the game against Inter Milan. Marcos Alonso opens the scoring this time. We've got Fikayo Tomori playing at right back in this one. He whips it across to the other side of the box, but Marcos Alonso seems quite central actually compared to where he should be. He fires that one into the back of the net. Pulisic, he hits it out wide to David Zappacosta now, who's come on, and Kante runs in from the edge of the box and slams that one into the back of the net. We've got some more Champions League results, and now on to our final pre-season game against Real Valladolid. And in this game, it was probably my most disappointing game actually. Cesar Azpilicueta fouls the Valladolid attacker, but in goal here, I believe Kepa manages to save the penalty from Sandro, but Valladolid held out for a 0-0 draw. So that is now going to be the end of this initial video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any feedback, advice, please leave it down in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, please like, and if you want to see more of this, please subscribe with notifications on. And that is all. Cheers for watching. Goodbye.